the regular scheduled meeting of the Hudson Common Council for Monday, January 23rd, 2012. If you could please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk, the roll, please.
Mayor Burchill.
Here.
District 1 Morset.
Here.
District 2 Yakub. Here. District 3 Bernard. Here. District 4 Wyland.
Here.
District 5 Hoggett.
Here.
District 6 Vanslow.
Here. This time we take any comments or complaints or suggestions from citizens present on anything that's not on the agenda. Samantha, are you here? Is Samantha here?
Actually, we have these two fine young men that are here instead of Samantha tonight, so.
Okay, so if you could come up and introduce yourselves and where you live and tell us what you want to talk about.
Hello, I'm Miles Jensen, 2324 Emerald Bend.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Joseph Munson.
Okay.
I live in Hudson.
All right.
We're here from Youth Action Hudson. We're going to invite the community to come to the Empty Bowls event, which is happening Friday, February 3rd. The Empty Bowls is an international grassroots effort to fight hunger. Guests are invited to a simple meal of soup and bread. All are welcome to keep a bowl as a reminder of all empty bowls in the world. The money is raised and donated to the organization working for hunger and food insecurity.
Okay, so young man, where's it going to be?
It's going to be at the River Center, and it's going to be at the River Room and the Phipps Center.
Okay.
5 o'clock to 7:30 p.m.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? Looks like a good event. Everyone in the television land should go attend this event if you can. Okay, thank you. Chief Jensen, did you have anything you'd like to add?
No, I don't have anything I'd like to add. I just would like to say that the City of Hudson has declared a snow plowing event for this evening, starting at 3 o'clock. I just want to remind the citizens in Hudson, please make sure your vehicle is off the street unless that street is plowed curb to curb. The snow plows have been out. They've done a pretty good job. They've gotten a majority of the streets. However, there are some isolated spots that still need some touch-up. That's why the city crews are going to be coming out at 3 o'clock. If we do come across a vehicle that is in an area that hasn't been plowed, we will be issuing tickets for it. So we just want to encourage everybody to make sure you get your vehicles off the streets.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Clerk, consent agenda.
To approve the regular meeting minutes of January 9th, 2012. To approve claims for payment in the amount of $954,913.47. A detailed description is available in the clerk's office on request and is posted on the city's website. To approve the issuance of 2 regular operators licenses for the period January 24th, 2012 to June 30th, 2013. Additional information is available in the clerk's office on request. To approve the application of Richard W. Enlow for a secondhand jewelry dealer's license, doing business as Enlow Jewelers at 523 2nd Street. To approve the application of Andrew J. Schmitz for amusement device owner's license, doing business as Superior Vending, 7777 Highway 65 Northeast, Spring Lake Park, Minnesota, and permits for 11 amusement devices located at Ellie's on Main, 417 2nd Street, Hudson, Wisconsin. To approve the update on the gasoline pump software system as presented. To approve the appointment of John Novak and Jean Troyer as election inspectors for the City of Hudson for the Republican Party for the term January 1st, 2012 through December 31st, 2013. To place on file the quarterly report of the police chief, fire chief, and building inspector, and the quarterly investment report and monthly financial report of the finance officer, and the Public Utility Commission minutes of January 10th, 2012. That is all.
Okay.
Move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Roll call.
Wyland?
Yes.
Bernard? Yes. Morset?
Yes.
Yakub? Yes. Hoggett?
Yes.
Vanslow?
Yes. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is consider amending Chapter 145 Municipal Code regarding alcoholic beverage license, ordinance number 2-12.
Move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Bernard.
Yes.
Morset.
Yes.
Yaku.
Yes.
Haggett.
Yes.
Vanslo.
Yes.
Wyland.
Yes.
I think in your packet, you all received the ordinance 2-12. Catherine, do you want to just put a couple of the highlights that we've
Sure.
changed?
This is the ordinance that the council directed me to draft with regard to changing from the city Class B intoxicating liquor license quota to just go with the state quota. We've done that in section 2 on page 2. And so the current state quota for that license is 1 per 500 persons. The council also wanted some language regarding this 90-day timely startup and continuation of business requirement that currently exists in the code, but some language to give some flexibility to the council if there's situations in which, for pretty obvious and objective reasons, 90 days just won't work, and it was related primarily to construction or remodeling, something along those lines. And that provision is the paragraph 2 on page 2 of the ordinance. And I just wanted to point out that, thinking this through, it struck me that there is, I think the council needs to be very clear, and the ordinance states this in section 3 or paragraph 3 on page 2, that any commencement of construction pursuant to an extension or even pursuant to granting of a license, within the 90-day period is at the grantees, meaning the licensee's own risk. You just don't want to get into a situation where someone undertakes construction but doesn't comply with the 90 days or the extension, and then the council's in a position of having to cancel it. And so I think the council needs to be very clear with applicants that that is at their own risk. At the same time, the ordinance does provide for notice and hearing before any cancellation. And you will need to consider the facts. That's just the reality of it. If someone's launched into a construction project, you'll want to consider carefully any action taken to cancel the license. But I tried to put in some language protecting the city from some kind of claim regarding reliance on the extension.
Catherine, regarding the extension, that extension needs to be issued prior to the 90 days being up, correct?
It should be issued, yeah, I guess.
Is that clear?
It probably is not. I think they should ask up front, at the time of application. As you've seen recently, they requested an extension. There has been a situation in which a license was approved, the rental situation, and didn't request an extension but did get one. So I guess I don't know if that's what the council wants it to be, only available at the time of application.
Oh, and I don't mean necessarily just that's the only
That
time,
they get
but
in here
before the 90
days
days.
is
Oh,
up.
I see.
Come in.
Let's see now.
So there isn't a lapse from the time of the expiration until the next council meeting.
Well, there's nothing that specifically addresses that. I can certainly put it in.
And I don't know how other people feel, but I mean, that's the assumption I've always kind of operated under, but.
Is that
Well, it
the
shouldn't be
meeting
an
before the
assumption.
90
It
days,
should-
or like 2 meetings before?
Within
Well,
the
see, and
90
that's the thing
days?
we've run into before is they may not be aware of the council schedule and.
You get into a situation where someone may have, you make a rule for yourself and you haven't liked this in the past, and then you have a situation that doesn't fit exactly into the rule, and then you have to either enforce the rule or be flexible. You may want to consider it on a, facts and circumstance type basis. Or, of course, this is putting more work on the clerk, some sort of notice.
Well, or can
Or
we just
require
say,
them, send them something, say you have to come in.
can we just say, something to the effect of if it appears that you'll not be able to, start using the license at 90 days, it's your responsibility to contact the city.
We should do that at the time of the issuance of the
You
license.
can make it as part of, yeah,
That's fine
as
if it's
part of the application. Just as I kind of recommended to council that we put on our application or a cover letter that commencement of construction is at your own risk. We could put it in a cover letter.
If the 90 days lapses and they didn't open, it's automatically, the license is automatically,
No, you give them notice and hearing.
even after the lapse.
Well, when it lapses, you give them notice and an opportunity to come in before you cancel the license.
I just think we need to say something, that it's their responsibility to contact the city.
I'll move
Put it on
to
the
adopt,
application. Pardon?
move to adopt ordinance number 2-12.
Second.
Oh, we got a discussion now, good. I wanted to ask Marty something. If
Marty?
he's still here. Were you here when the council adopted the most stricter standards? Or was that before you?
I think that was before me. I can't remember that.
My understanding, Lee, it was in the 70s.
Because it
with
went
the
to
age of consent.
650 right after I came, and then it went to 600. So that was in 2001, it went to 650. It was at 750.
Right, I'm
And
trying
then
to
it went to
remember.
600.
And it went to
probably in
600 like
2004.
in
6, 7, 8, something.
2000.
around 2008, because I was here.
2008.
Right. The rumors that I heard, the story, I wasn't even downtown in that time frame, but was we had a lot of just plain old bars in town. And the council adopted more strict standards and said, we want them, we don't want just a bunch of bars in downtown. And so, I think one of the reasons we're revisiting this is we're seeing restaurants open with liquor. And I believe there's still a concern on council, or I would hope there would be, to just open a bunch of bars downtown. That's one thing I'm a little concerned here. We freed up. Are we going to get the mix of things we're looking for? And does this give us the strength on council to say we want to open certain kinds of establishments, or do we not have the ability to say, if it's just another bar, it's not unique? We really don't have that control here, do we?
But Lee, I don't think we should be a council that controls that. We should let capitalism control that. It's your choice.
Well,
There is provision in the ordinance that sets out the guidelines of what the council can look at.
and that's true, where you would say, this kind of a business will bring 20 people to town, where this type of business will bring 2 bartenders. So maybe there is that balance there.
Right.
The location you can look at.
And I do believe in capitalism. I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
I do have an issue with, in the early 60s here.
And I get
we had
that. I was
A lot of
here.
issues in downtown.
I think in today's environment, I'm not sure a bar by itself can make it
Yeah, I don't think so
in a,
Mhm.
in a
Tough. Have to be a
community.
pretty good bar.
Yep.
All right, well, I just want to point that out, that a little bit of history here and why we're reconsidering this, and the kinds of requests we've been getting in.
Let's go back to Lori's question that you talked about. Did we answer that, or did we,
Well,
can we put it on the application?
I think so.
Would that be sufficient? I mean, would you feel comfortable with that?
It needs to be somewhere.
Okay.
You know,
I
I
think
think
that's
we have to.
better
we have to-
than in the ordinance,
Yeah.
because then you're tying your hands and there may be a situation where
If
you
they,
want to give the extension, I mean, that
Right.
it's appropriate,
Right,
so.
but we just need to tell them, it
Yeah.
is their responsibility to come to us in a timely manner, and
so if they exceed the 90 days, we'll probably send them a notice that we're gonna put
Yeah.
your license up for,
well, hopefully, we would have heard from them by then.
Right,
is
but if
kind of
we
my
don't-
point.
But, yeah, I guess it's probably fairly, just as safe to assume you may not.
yes.
And you will give them notice and hearing, and the purpose of the hearing is to hear, why is this, what's the problem, what's your expected date, and to get some information on whether this is a business that's really going to open within some reasonable time. So,
And again, I think everyone's aware the reason we had that is so we don't have someone holding a liquor license, and eventually I'll get to it. So that's why it was put in place.
So just refresh my memory, the Class B liquor, does that have that stipulation of?
50% food?
No.
I believe so, no.
no, the only thing you have, I mean, in this ordinance increasing the quota, there is a finding that you're making that restaurants are good for the city. You can look at then you have the factors in your ordinance already: jobs, impact, location.
Similar type in the area.
Right. And I think if you can articulate a reasonable reason related to the public health, safety, welfare of the city, demand on resources, police, law enforcement, that kind of thing, you can deny a license.
And that's what I was bringing up before, where we had an issue in downtown where it was unsafe for a period of time, and that's why this council adopted the more stricter requirements earlier, to try to get some control over the safety issues.
Okay. Any other discussion? Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak to this issue? Because I guess we didn't ask that. Okay. Any other comments? All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next order of business is, under new business, is consider referring the Planning Commission the application requesting rezoning of the property at 2200 Carmichael Road from B2 General Business to Public or quasi-public district. Mr. Darnold.
The Curline Properties is filed for rezoning of the former St. Croix Meadows dog track property from B2 General Business District to PUB Public or Quasi-Public District. I do recommend that this item be referred to Planning Commission. I would like at least 2 opportunities of Planning Commission to review this issue, which means it take it minimally through February. 2 council dates in March are March 12th and March 26th. I believe the referendum is scheduled for April 3rd. If you wanted to schedule the hearing after the referendum, you could do that also.
What's the council's pleasure?
I had one question for Denny. Do we have an approximate dollar figure as far as reduction in property taxes when this goes public instead of private?
Well, we know what the current assessed value is. I guess what you'd have to do is speculate what the potential value would be if it's not developed for commercial development. So, I mean, that would be part of the review that I hopefully might be able to come up with some estimated numbers for Planning Commission to take a look at. And that information would come out of the report from the Planning Commission to the Common Council.
Okay. Mary?
I have a slight concern that the city, this would be setting a precedence. The city doesn't usually rezone based on contingencies, is from what my understanding.
Well, and right now, there's only the letter requested if the city would consider conditional zoning. The city does not have to do that. Catherine and I discussed it. I informed the school district at this point. Any application that would come before the city of Hudson, we're not assuring that the city, the Common Council, will consider conditional zoning. So really that issue will have to come up at the time the council considers a ordinance for the possible rezoning of the issue. Until that point, I don't see why the city's even discussing conditional zoning.
Right.
We've never done that in the past, right, Denny?
I think maybe once,
Well,
many years ago, but it's not typical for us to do it. A recent conversation with a real estate agent representing the sale of the U-Line property, I strongly suggested we would not consider conditional zoning at that point, under that consideration.
So, with that being said, I'll make a motion to refer this to Plan Commission, but I'd like to set the public hearing date to Monday, April 9th.
I'll second.
You got a second?
At 6:45 p.m., I'm sorry, I should probably see the time.
I'll second.
Well, I think one of the issues that we should be looking at is whether or not we think we want to contingent zone it. Because having the hearing after the, of course, I guess we can still have a hearing. If the referendum passes, we still have an option to say yea or nay to changing the public. Okay.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that Plan Commission has to look at it thoroughly anyways, and so.
Okay.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think, you're not making any indication by referring it to Plan Commission on the
Right.
conditional request.
The
And it
Plan
might,
Commission might not even accept that, so we don't.
right, yeah, so there's been no promises made. I did notice that their letter said if there's a problem with that, please notify us immediately. It might not be a bad idea to just tell them, there is no recommendation, you know, it will all be up to what happens in the review process and when it comes to council.
Okay.
Can you just briefly discuss what would be other options besides the contingency option, or are there no other options?
Well, the option is that you do not rezone the property. You retain the B2 General Business District zoning classification. One is so that'd be denying it. One would be approving it with no contingencies or conditions. The third option basically would be is the possible consideration of adding conditions on to an approval of a rezoning consideration. There may be two ways of doing that. One is that you set a sunset date, that if the property isn't sold by such and such a date, the zoning automatically is null and void. The second consideration would be is a repeal consideration of setting, you establish the zoning, and then after so many days, 180 days or whatever is determined, that if the property is not purchased by the school district, then the zoning is repealed. Typically, if you go through that procedure, it's normally advised that you go back through a public hearing process again. But again, I really don't think we're premature really having that discussion at this point, but those are your potential options.
Okay.
Which could be looked at in Plan Commission.
Or the Planning Commission may even waive on that issue and
Right.
leave it up to the Common Council exclusively.
So we have a lot of options.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
But you mentioned Uline. I mean, we've been asked for this before.
I mean, as a very recent, where my opinion was, is no, I didn't think the city would consider a conditional zoning.
Mhm. So I think we have to be careful. We're not picking and choosing who we're going to conditionally rezone for.
Okay, you want to reread the motion? We have a motion on the floor to refer to planning.
Forwarded to the Plan Commission and to set a public hearing date for Monday, April 9th at 6:45 PM.
Okay. Any other thoughts, comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Yeah, just as one comment, the first time Planning Commission has an opportunity to look at this is probably mid-February, so.
Okay. Thank you, Denny. Next item is a disallowance of a claim of Safeco Insurance, Sean Borg and Harry Borg, Resolution 3-12.
Move to suspend.
Roll call.
Second.
Sorry.
Morset,
Yes.
Yes.
Haggett,
Yes.
Vanslo,
Yes.
Wyland,
Yes.
Bernard.
Yes.
Everyone's had a chance to read this. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Is there a motion to disallow claim 3-12?
Motion disallow.
Second.
Any discussion?
Do you want to say adopt resolution and give the number?
Motion to adopt resolution number 3-12.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is the approval of an appointment to the Hudson Housing Authority. Mr. Dubois has resigned from the Housing Authority, and you had a copy of the letter on the back of your page. And my recommendation is to appoint Daryl Youngberg, 220 Iverson Circle, to the remaining term of Mr. Dubois, 5-year term, which expires July of 15.
I'll move to approve the appointment.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Any, I had everyone received our financial statements from 2010. Hopefully, we've been told we'll get them a little quicker next year, or this year.
There were some, with the merger and some staff changes and everything at Larson Allen, which is now Clifton Larson Allen, so they're hoping that that will resolve the lateness of.
At this point, you received it in your packet. I think today or this weekend. So I'm sure you've combed over those line item by line item.
Yeah.
But we would probably, maybe at next meeting, if anybody has any questions, Neil will be here to answer them, and Devin can answer them also. So just for your information, we'll go through those if you feel that you want
If
to.
you have something, if you let
Yep.
us know ahead of time, so we're prepared.
Okay? That's all I had. Anything from any alder person?
Yeah, one comment, the skating rinks are flooded and frozen finally. I think they've tried it 3 times now, so they are now ready to go out and have some fun.
Until this weekend, when it gets to be 40 degrees.
Skate fast.
Skate fast.
Right now.
Okay, Lee, anything else? Anyone else?
Just want to remind everyone about the Hot Air Fair. It's coming up February 3rd, 4th, and 5th. So make plans to take part in those activities.
Okay. City attorney?
Nothing.
City administrator?
Just a couple of reminders, the council meetings next month are on the 6th and the 27th, just so you're aware of that because of the election on the 21st. There will be the primary election for the school board on the 21st. We are finishing up, we've gone person by person through all the voters to make sure, hopefully make sure they're in the right district. We're making some final changes. The state's supposed to have a letter for us on Wednesday that we can send out to everybody, telling them where they will be voting, so knock on wood, we'll have those out. I would like to also say that St. Clair County is miles ahead of some of the other counties, so the county and the GIS have worked really hard, so I just want to mention that. A lot of counties are having some issues with where their people are at, so.
Okay. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.